Alrighty, everybody, welcome to the Casual Sports Talk Podcast, National Championship Winner Edition. And now we got the gentleman right over here who I still want to ask, do you still want to fire Ryan Day? Here's Christopher.
Yes, I do still want to fire him. I mean, I personally can't fire him. I'm not in that control. But yeah, I want Ryan Day gone. I mean, he's 1-4 against the Wolverines from Michigan.
But I just
that team up north. I mean, just because you win the national championship game doesn't mean. I mean, it's great. It's a great feat to win it, to hoist that trophy. But man, he needs to start beating Michigan because it's ridiculous.
But I mean, I'm just going to ask you: do you see that gentleman right over here who won it? It says Ohio State.
You know, Stu, I think this is a fun week just because it puts us in like a conundrum that I feel like every fan says, but we've got to now test if it's true.
Yeah.
Does the national championship trump beating Michigan? And for Michigan, does beating Ohio State trump not making the playoff?
Yes. And now we got a gentleman right over here who still wants to berate me because Ohio State lost to Michigan. Here's Douglas.
Yeah, Stu. Well, when you absolutely destroyed the state of Michigan for no reason, it felt very justified to continue to dog you. You were very disrespectful to the entire state of Michigan and all of our sports, even though you haven't really had your teams do much all year until now. So, like, if you want to finally trash talk now that you can mildly stick a foot up, Stu, go ahead.
You know, I just got to say, it just feels so great to be a Buckeyes fan. Oh, my God. It's so
See,
great.
Does it though? That's the thing. I'm really curious because like you seem to have forgotten about Michigan, but I know a lot of the fan base.
No, I forgot about it. I don't care. I know this.
Yeah, I don't know. That's good for you. That's good for you. I wish my ending would have happened where Michigan would have gotten to play Notre Dame in a surprise semifinal.
Hey, it don't matter. Hey, Oregon could have played better, but they didn't. I'm just saying, Tennessee could have beaten us. They didn't. Oregon could have played better. They didn't. Texas could have played better. They didn't. But anyway,
I should have put on some Wolverines winged helmets, and they would.
You know who did play better, Stu? Michigan played better when they played Ohio State.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I mean, on my unbiased cap, though, it was an impressive run. Like we obviously can't disagree with that. That it was, I mean, they should be poised to stay competitive. Like they recruit well every year. They're going to be there. It was a great run. It's a great year, but it's kind of weird because like. Then this new era, it's like, do you care about conference championships? Do you care about any of those things? I mean, you won the national title, so it's kind of hard to care about not winning the Big Ten, even.
Yeah, I feel like it's like a weird feeling, I feel like, with this. But anyway, I guess we'll start out with the first thing. We got to talk about the Ohio State University beating up. Well, actually not really beating up, but it actually was kind of a close game.
Yeah, they won by double digits.
We did win by double.
If you win by double digits, isn't that beating up someone?
No, yeah. I still say decisively is still 20, but still.
20.
I think me and Chris agree on terminology, and I think you have different terminology because it was a pretty bad beatdown, Stu. I mean, it was like Notre Dame made it look interesting at the end.
Yeah, I mean, at one
point, they would have
made
that field goal or like gone for it on that 4th and 9 in the fourth quarter, then maybe it would have been competitive, but. I mean, I guess they could have gotten the ball, and then that 3rd and 11, and Ohio State hits a 56-yard pass.
Yeah.
So it's like, I guess in that sense, there's a chance Notre Dame could have done it, but.
Yes. And I guess I should ask Douglas, as your unbiased opinion, wasn't this a great game, or was this a great game?
Well, my unbiased opinion, it was not a very great game. Like, I honestly, like, just like watching the product, I was like, it was okay. Like, there was nothing, like, I wasn't, like, entertained by the game. Like, as a neutral fan, I was not like, wow, this is an epic game. I was like, oh, maybe Notre Dame can do it. Oh, they didn't. And, like, it felt kind of anticlimactic as a neutral fan.
Yeah, they had, like, one touchdown in the beginning. I was like, okay, maybe this might be competitive. And then I just realized Notre Dame could stop Ohio State.
Yeah, if I was not an Ohio State fan, I would not have been thrilled with this game. You guys know what I consider a good game. High scoring.
If Notre Dame would have gotten the ball back one more time down 8, then I would probably have a different opinion. But the fact that Ohio State, because I was thinking about this today, and like there's something that the Lions, I think, started, lots of teams do it now, which is icing the game instead of being conservative. And it's like a movement across college and NFL where like the Lions go for it on 4th and 1 in a tied game. The Ravens, the Bills, all the elite teams are hitting it on 4th and down like crazy. Teams throw on 3rd and long when they're up by, 8 in their own territory. So it's like it's a lot riskier game, but it's also like a lot more boring at the end of games for fans because the teams have gotten so good at converting those clutch situations.
Yes. So I guess we'll discuss it. Christopher, also, was this a great game or was this a fantastic game?
I mean, you guys heard what I said. What I consider a great game is a lot of offense.
But as a Buckeyes fan, this is the greatest game ever.
If I was not a Buckeyes fan, this is not a great game. I mean, yeah.
Like I put it on here and there, but like I really wasn't captured by it. Like, I mean, Ohio State has beaten Notre Dame the last 3 seasons now, so it's not like I think honestly, if Penn State was there, it would have been a better game for a viewer standpoint because like I feel like Penn State would have felt more competitive to me. Like I feel like Penn State was more evenly matched with Ohio State than Notre Dame was. I think it would have been a far more interesting game than this one was because like Ohio State. I mean, it was obviously over. You're up 24 points in the third quarter. Like, it's pretty much game over. It's kind of boring to watch a 24-point game in the third quarter. Like, why do I care?
Yeah, I mean, granted, I feel like probably for everyone else, this is like an okay game. Like, I don't think it's like it was kind of bad in like the first half. Then it kind of got interesting the second half, and then Ohio State got that third and long, and then it was just like, okay, it's pretty much over. Kick the field goal. This game's over at this point. You know,
I mean, you could argue or don't have to argue about it, but like, yeah, going into halftime, that game was pretty much over. You know, up by 14 going into halftime.
But you never know. I seen 28-3 when it was the Patriots versus the Falcons, and you know what I mean.
Usually when you know like the better team is the one down by 14, like with like the Lions one when they were losing the whole game, you're like, all right, now they're gonna do it, and then they just couldn't quite get there. But it's like. Notre Dame doesn't have the explosiveness to where you're really feeling scared if you're Ohio State because, like, oh, you scored. All right, here's Jeremiah Smith again.
Yeah, I agree with what Doug said. I was watching that Lions game, and man, I thought Lions at home were going to pull it out, being down by double digits. But then when you're transferring and on the same lines talking about the Buckeyes Notre Dame game, like Doug was saying, Notre Dame's lack of explosiveness. I mean, they have Riley Leonard, their quarterback. He's pretty much their running back too.
And we stopped him. We literally
we were able to shut him down for majority of the time. And when they don't have that guy not producing anything, well, that's pretty much a clear win for the Buckeyes right there.
It's a clear W. Like,
what do you gentlemen think of the Notre Dame getting to stay independent and wanting to remain independent? Like, should they have to join a conference? Can they do whatever they want in this day and age? I
mean, I feel like it's different. I mean, granted. I think it's like fine. I think if they want to do it, but like I said, I know like people at work complain about it, and they talk about that Notre Dame's like a glorified MAC school because they only play against weak opponents. But I mean, I think
what conference would they join though? What conference would
I would want them in Big Ten. I think it'd be interesting.
I would say they'd probably realistically go to the ACC, though. They already play basketball and hockey. Well, they play hockey in the Big Ten.
Yeah,
they play basketball in the ACC.
But I think it'd be interesting putting them in the Big Ten if I was Notre Dame.
I mean, it'd be the best for the conference as a whole. Like,
yeah,
nobody really. I mean, the ACC is not that competitive. It's kind of top heavy. Where the Big Ten, I mean, clearly is the best conference right now.
Yeah,
like back-to-back national champions, like kind of dominated. Like the bowl season against the SEC, top to bottom, the Big Ten is. For sure the best conference.
Best conference right now. And I guess we should also, unfortunately, we got to do our eulogy for the Fighting Irish. First time, I believe, was it less than a decade when they made the national championship? I'm trying to think. No, 15 years ago.
I feel like they made 2. I don't know. I thought they made it.
I don't think they made it when it was, if I'm trying to remember correctly, I don't think they made it do the college football Final Four playoffs. I don't think they
made the playoffs at least once or twice. They didn't.
But I don't think they made it to the finals, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they played in the BCS national title against Bama, I think, and got walloped once.
Yeah, I think it was like 2009, correct? If I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So it's like, it just feels like they're the bridesmaid, just like the same problem with James Franklin, and not James, just like James Franklin and Penn State. They're never the bride. It's been a long time. 1988 is the last time they won a national championship, and it looks like it might be a little bit longer.
I should watch last week's episode of our podcast because I know last week we all predicted what the score of the game would be.
I said they were going to win by 7.
Yeah, and I want to know what my score was. I'll have to watch it because, yeah, I know. I'm pretty sure I put Notre Dame at 23 points because they scored 27 against Indiana, 23 against Georgia, 27 against Penn State, and now they scored 23 against Ohio State.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean they're right in their wheelhouse, scoring lower 20s.
Yeah. Now, I guess I will ask, and I still think we're probably going to continue the top. So I guess I should ask Theodore, what's your final thoughts on Notre Dame making it?
I mean, I don't really have any final thoughts on Notre Dame. I don't really follow them closely. I mean, I only follow one team closely. It's the Buckeyes. But I mean, like you guys were talking about them joining a conference. I mean, when a team goes to the CF playoffs, college football playoffs, their conference gets $20 million, and they have to split it up amongst the teams. Ohio State got like $2.6 million, whereas Notre Dame, since they're not in a conference, they were able to keep all $20 million. So I mean, yeah, it's a financial thing when it comes to joining a conference. So,
yeah, and I
I'm
feel
not
like,
sure.
and I guess I feel like, and I guess we'll start. I mean, you got close. This is probably the best Notre Dame has been since 2009. I believe 2009 when they played against Bama in the national championship, but they didn't get to the end, unfortunately. I mean, they didn't get to that. They were the bridesmaid, but not the bride, unfortunately.
Yeah, their last one was what, like 88 now?
88 is the last time they won a national championship.
Yeah, we was just thoughts, boys. We weren't even here yet. Sorry, Notre Dame.
He didn't even exist right now. No, Reagan was president the last time Notre Dame won a national championship.
Join the Big Ten, guys. Maybe you'll win one.
Yeah, maybe join the SEC. You know what I mean? Go to the South and join the SEC and actually like compete. But yeah, unfortunately for Notre Dame, it just stinks. It's pretty much, I do think they will be back next year because I think they still have a cupcake soft schedule. Let's be honest. Am I not wrong?
I don't know. Did they come out with the schedules yet?
No, but I'm just
I think they did. How you know they have a cupcake schedule then?
No, I think they did. I just didn't pay attention. But I feel like Notre Dame always gets a cupcake soft schedule.
Well, Ohio State's finally. Oh, no, never mind. Ohio State did that for like years though, where they would just play absolute garbage. They make wow, they only lost 2 games, put them in over Penn State. It's like, dude, come on.
Yeah,
you're all for it when it was Ohio State that played the cupcakes, made the playoffs.
Yeah,
don't be a hater on Notre Dame for playing the game.
All right, fine. Don't hate the play. But like
All
I said,
right. So next year Notre Dame does not have a. I mean, they play currently ranked Miami Hurricanes 23, number 22 Texas A&M, number 24 Boise State. USC is not ranked, but USA should have a good team. So yeah, they play at the moment three ranked opponents to start the season next year.
Okay,
So,
finally, they finally learned up. Let's go, Marcus Freeman. And also, I do feel like Marcus Freeman's still a good coach. Keep him in there. We'll see how he develops right there. Will Notre Dame make it to a national championship? TBD on that.
or will they make it to the playoffs? That's a better question. I mean, making it to the national championship game.
Yeah, that's a good. I think they'll still make
lower odds than just simply making the 12-team playoff.
I think they'll still make it, but I think it'll just be like that bottom 11, 12 or something like that. And then now we got to talk about the Buckeyes winning the national championship. I know Douglas is so excited. He even muted himself, eating a pizza, knowing that Buckeye Nation and another Big Ten champion has won a national championship.
Yeah, I like that, sir. Back-to-back Big Ten national championships or champions.
Let's go!
Yeah, I mean,
congrats
I'm not going biased here, so it's amazing that Michigan won it last year, true undefeated fashion. Was it 15-0?
Then yeah, it's not 14 there with 3 extra games or something.
Yeah, true. Because they only had to win 2 games last year in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's true. Exactly.
And I do feel like that, for this Ohio State team, and this is very interesting because, like I said, the Final Four, they did win the national championship because of that. Now the 12-team playoffs, Ohio State is the first team to win a national championship because of this type of thing. So it's kind of
I texted that to you guys earlier today, and I said we're not going to win a championship until the format is altered again. But then Doug said there might be some alterations for next year, so we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how it
If there's
goes.
any changing, then the Buckeyes should win.
I think the Buckeyes would definitely. I mean, granted, I think this was a stacked Buckeyes team. I'll give Ryan Day credit. I think after that Michigan loss, I think they buckled down. I think this team really just said they kind of had their heart to heart, like, hey, we should have done better in that game. And they played all their games. They were not close. I mean, maybe the Texas one is only close, but they got a touchdown at the end. They were dominant.
Yeah, like you said, so dominating type of team. Yeah, I mean Jeremiah Smith, freshman wide receiver, he'll be back next year. We're losing both of our running backs. We're losing our quarterback, Will Howard. We're losing two of our better defenders, Jack Sawyer, who had the strip and the fumble recovery for 6 against Texas. It's going to be a true testament if Ryan Day can. It depends on how our recruiting class is. I know Doug mentioned earlier that we always have a good recruitment in the offseason, but it'll really show what kind of coach Ryan Day is going into next season and the outcomes of our games for next season. Because if we don't have a good record to start the season off, because I think we started off with Texas, if we lose that game, then man, things might just go downhill. But like I said, true testament to Coach Ryan Day if he could, if he's an actual coach.
A true testament to your boosters too. Can they probably put up a lot more than $20 million for next year? It's not roster ain't going to be cheap.
Yeah, because I know there was a lot of people that complained because it was like, hey, we could have gotten Cam Ward from Miami, but we didn't want to pay him $4 million. And we got Will Howard, but we lost that. But I think, at the end of the day, it was like, you know what? We still won the national championship. We probably could have won it with Cam Ward either way, but I think Will Howard showed, I can win this. Put me in.
Yeah, I mean, there were times I did not enjoy Will Howard throughout the season, but I mean, he really showed it. He had 13 straight completions yesterday. If it wasn't 14, it was definitely 13. There were times throughout the season that I was not comfortable with Mr. Will Howard at the quarterback position. But we're not going to put was it Devin Brown in? That guy can't throw with anything. He actually just transferred to California. I think yesterday or today he made the announcement.
He's going to Cal?
I do believe, yes, sir.
Have fun in Cal. You're probably not going to be relevant in Cal. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not sure if
Cal McCord.
Yeah, isn't Kyle McCord? He's going to the NFL, right? I think this is his senior year.
Yeah, I think so.
I think
he finished like 9th in Heisman voting.
Yeah,
it was balling.
But I guess we should also talk about. So, what is your thoughts of Ryan Day right now? You wanted him gone when we talked about the playoffs. He won a national championship.
Well, Chris already said his thoughts. Jerry asked that.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much just said it right then and there. It'll be a true testament next year. Because, like I said, we're losing not all of our running backs, but our 2 starting running backs, our quarterback. Sure, I think we're losing Emeka Ibuka, our wide receiver. We're still gonna have Jeremiah Smith, our freshman. But yeah, it's gonna be a true test to how good or how bad of a coach Ryan Day is next year. See if with the roster Ohio State puts together, whether he's gonna have a winning record and possibly make it to the playoffs. Yeah, we'll see.
Maybe he'll give you all the middle finger and just go to the NFL.
Wait, who?
He'll just give you guys all the whole state of Ohio the middle finger.
He will pull a Harbaugh, and he would just be like, "Hey, we're gonna go. I'm going to."
Yeah, I'm tired of this criticism. I won the Natty. Now I just got offered the, I don't know, Las Vegas Raiders job. I'm out.
No, better. He's going to Jacksonville. He's going to Jacksonville. He's going to Urban Meyer and going to Jacksonville Jaguars. He's going to coach Trevor Lawrence.
Heck yeah.
I don't think the Jacksonville Jaguars would accept any more coaches from Ohio State. After what Urban Meyer did, I don't think that's in their playbook.
I was still. He was a great coach in Ohio State.
Well, at Ohio State, yeah.
Yes,
but not in the NFL. Not all coaches.
NFL.
Not all coaches. Florida, or was he better at Ohio State?
What?
Was he better at Florida or better at Ohio State?
Oh man, he had a good. I think he won either one or a couple of national championships with the Gators.
I mean, granted, I will say they were irrelevant after Urban Meyer left Florida.
They've been irrelevant now for a good 15 years. It feels like.
Yeah, like let's be honest, you don't even talk about like Florida dominance now.
No, every once in a while you hear like, oh, they're getting back, and then they win 6 games the next year. You're like, yeah. They feel like Texas of a few years ago.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the Charlie Strong Texas, but it's like never improved. That's what I feel like Florida has been.
Yeah, it was like the Brady Hoke Wolverines or Rich Rod, where it's like, yeah, they're in the top 20 and they're 6-6.
Yeah. And they lost to Nebraska.
Yeah.
But I guess we should also ask, what do you think the format? Do you think they should improve upon the 12-team playoffs right now? I know that they're probably not going to get rid of. They're not going to be like lower to 8. That's not going to happen. Let's be honest, because it's going to make the money. College football is going to be like we want that money. What do you think we should do for improvements for the college football?
In an ideal world, if it wasn't about money, but we all know the world revolves around money. In an ideal world, they should go to 8 teams because besides, I read somewhere today, I guess I could look at it to all the games. Only 2 games were within 1 score. Every other game in the playoff was 2 or more possessions, 2 or more scores.
I feel validated on Stu's question because he asked me every freaking year if I wanted 32 teams. I told him they'd be terrible games. And even in 12 teams, none of the games were really all that good.
You never know. There might be an upset.
I mean, there might be an upset.
Not so much in football. I mean, obviously, upsets are going to happen in college basketball. We've all seen that, but I don't think upset. I mean,
football and the teams have a week to prepare. I mean, in college basketball, they're like playing on Thursday and then Saturday morning. Like if you would have set up this tournament,
I think the bye week hurt the teams that had byes.
Yeah, and I feel like that was probably the hard part right now. It was just.
I mean, Texas State, Arizona State, they had a bye, they lost.
But
Oregon had a bye, they lost. All the teams that had byes lost.
Well, I mean, what the real fix is not just giving the conference champs the byes either, because I mean, there wouldn't have been the same teams like Boise and Arizona State, and maybe not even Georgia are getting a bye in that scenario. Yeah. So it's like if you reseed it to where it's just the top 4 teams, then it's a little bit different.
Yeah, because I think if it was the top 4, it'd probably be Oregon. It'd probably be Texas, probably at number 4. You probably put Notre Dame.
I mean, probably Georgia still. Probably still Georgia.
Oregon, Georgia.
Maybe Notre Dame would have been at 2 or 3.
And then maybe you put Texas in there.
Texas could have been there. Could have made a case for Penn State, perhaps.
Yeah, Notre Dame was only a 1-loss team up until last night.
No, but I feel like I would probably put Texas over Penn State because Penn State lost a little decisively against Oregon versus Texas. They went to overtime against them.
Well, yeah, and I do think that they need to pick up the pacing a little bit though too, because it's kind of like, I mean, granted, once they got into it, it was like every 8-9 days they had a game, but I felt like it was a little bit. I don't know. I feel like a faster pace would be a little bit more fun.
Yeah, every week. It's like the NFL. You can't have these long, like you said, Doug. You can't have a week and a half in between games.
And plus, I think I was listening to my Strong Opinion Sports. Do you think the college football playoffs ratings were down? Probably.
Probably because I mean these felt, I mean, I feel like for the average fan, it was too many games.
On that podcast there, you listen. Did they actually have numbers, or were they just discussing? Because I think
they were discussing. The numbers actually were down a little bit, actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, but I think also it's kind of bad that they had it on the 20th. It's on a Monday. We had the inauguration this Monday, so that probably, and I agree, that probably did kind of hurt their ratings also.
I mean, the inauguration started at, I think, 2:00, so that should have no effect on.
Yeah, but I feel like everyone's they're not thinking about college football at this point. You know what I mean?
I mean, it depends on what political party you voted for. Maybe you could be like, okay, I just watched the inauguration. I'm going to be even more happy, or to cure my sadness of the inauguration, I'm going to go watch
and also it's not the SEC. It's two Ohio. It's like Ohio and an Indiana team.
Well, I mean, I will say too, they need to maybe make an agreement with the NFL to not play on the same days either, because that was kind of crummy to have to decide between which one you wanted to watch. There was that Saturday where it's they all overlapped, and it was kind of fun, but it was also kind of weird having NFL and college football on the same day and then trying to flip between them, and it was just.
See, I disagree with that Doug, and I say that because it wasn't this past weekend, it was the prior weekend. That's when the semifinals were. The first semifinal was on a Thursday, second one was on a Friday, and that's to eliminate the college football overlapping with the NFL. And I just feel like if I was going to watch, I mean, that'd be tough because it's the NFL playoffs. But I mean, you my one buddy, he had no idea there was a game on Thursday for a semifinal. He's like, what kind of crap is this, having a college football national semifinal on a Thursday? Having it like on a Friday night or Saturday night or even a Sunday afternoon.
Well,
And then I'm in disagreement with the national. I mean, it's always been on a Monday, but you got to have the national championship game on some other day than a Monday. But I guess it cures the Monday blues,
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I mean, like I said, it still was interesting, but I guess, like I said, I just feel like, it was like fine. I mean, granted, I do kind of agree. Maybe like the bye weeks was pretty too long for those like teams that had the bye week. Like not like NFL where it's just like 1 week. I think maybe you can short it up, maybe have it like the week before. Like I think that would have been interesting.
Well, because if you have the semifinal, Notre Dame won that semifinal on Thursday. That means they had Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, a 10-day period. If I'm doing my math right, between them winning the semifinal and playing the national championship game. I know Ohio State, they won on Friday, so they had a 9-day period, but
yeah,
it's too long. I feel like I think it's weird to have it on the 20th, like the championship. That's probably the one thing I would probably say. I think maybe cut a week earlier, in my opinion.
It needs to be done before the NFL playoffs, I think.
Yeah, or at least like beginning of the NFL playoffs, or at least to the first week. That's fine, but like, yeah, that's probably my one critique. Cut a week off, honestly. Start it when it's like next week. Do the same thing as the NFL, where it's like, boom, conference is done. All right, we're starting this week. You know what I mean? Oh, you get a bye, you get 2 weeks off.
Yeah, I think it should just be the following week, conference championships games. See, it's hard because they want to preserve Army Navy though, so that's where it gets kind of tricky. But then it's like you're looking at a minimum of a 2-week layoff there.
Yeah,
conference championships. You didn't make a conference.
The Army Navy. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, then like you have a Notre Dame that they don't have a conference championship, so they were resting since 3-4 weeks before their first game at least.
Yeah,
Army Navy is a national treasure. You can't just put that to the wayside.
Both teams are not good. Both teams are not ranked. Why do I care?
Navy was ranked. Yep.
Do you enjoy freedom, Stu?
Yeah, come on, Stu. These guys.
No, I want
on
sadness
the front line.
That's what I want. I want sadness.
He's trying to get rid of the city of Philadelphia. Wants to move that city to Canada. He's like,
I will support that.
It's like
but
the anti-America podcast over here, Stu.
Anti-America podcast. Welcome to the anti. Alrighty, everybody. Welcome to the Anti-America podcast.
I would not join that podcast, Stu. I would not be on that.
Stu. I'm proud to be an American.
Where at least I know
I'm free. Anyway, gentlemen, do you have any final thoughts on the college football and Ohio State's winning their championship? Also, I will say, and I totally forgot about it, I was originally thinking we should rank all the teams that were like that won in this decade, but it's like it feels like an apples and orange. I can't do that. Like I said,
good because Michigan
but it's like a 14 versus a 12 team. I feel like that's different. You know what? I think when we do this next year,
they had more wins with less games. Stu, what a champ!
Yeah,
we're number one.
We are one.
No, probably the 2021 Georgia or 2022 Georgia would probably be number one. Team was dirty, man. They were great.
Yeah, I'm not counting the COVID year because I feel like the Alabama, that was a weird moment when it was like Bama.
No.
Yeah, but anyway, do you have any final thoughts before we go out?
Yeah, I've spilled all my thoughts out for you guys.
Yeah.
I gotta say,
Midwest is the best spot for football right now. That's my ending.
Oh yeah, and I probably would say Big Ten is now the best, and SEC is now the worst.
Well, not the worst, second best.
Yeah, so there's a lot of conferences.
All right. They're not the new MAC. Okay, fine. But anyway, we pretty much got done with this podcast right now. We got to shorten right there, less than 30 minutes. So, gentlemen, next up, we're going to upload this tomorrow. We're going to do our final, not the finals, but the conference playoffs. We got 4 eulogies, 4 teams that we got to talk about. And we'll see who do we think is going to win that, who's going to make it to the Super Bowl, and who is going to be writing our eulogies pretty soon. So anyway, as always, I will catch you later, Mr. Gator. So take care. Bye-bye.